Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fabulous e-chapter meeting. I am so glad to be here with you all today. Boy, this has been a crazy, crazy day. I know I sound like a broken record, but once again, our e-chapter just keeps growing and growing. We started 2017 with more than 23,000 e-chapter members, as you know, and now we have over 28,000 e-chapter members. It is by far our most successful and member-appreciated networking benefit, and I think that is really amazing. I'm absolutely thrilled to witness the explosive growth of this exciting initiative, and I thank each and every one of you for making our biweekly virtual meetings engaging, heartfelt, and inspiring. The NAPW e-chapter is networking at its best, and for busy professional women on the go, it provides access to your network from wherever you are. Speaking of which, I think you know that last year I hosted e-chapter from multiple places while meeting all kinds of people in just amazing locations. In 2016, nothing stopped me from keeping my network strong, and 2017 will be even better. As you can see, I am actually in a backstage dressing room today. So this is a first for our e-chapter. I am here at AOL Build in New York, because this week I am launching my latest entrepreneurial project as a producer. I am launching Daytime Divas, the new scripted television show on VH1 on June 5th is when we premiere at 10 o'clock in the evening, Eastern and Pacific, 9 o'clock Central. It is a behind-the-scenes look at what it's like to be on a daytime television show. It's fiction, everybody. It's fiction, and it was inspired by my book, Satan Sisters, and it's finally coming to the air. I'm so excited, so I'm here with my cast to promote the show and to just inspire them to do the very best they can do and to be the very best they can be, which is really very apropos for the subject that we're talking about today. We're going to discuss the importance of having a trusted and valuable mentor. I've had two great mentors in my career. In the law, it was the late Johnny Cochran, one of the most brilliant lawyers I've ever met in my entire life. He really helped me understand the nuances of the law and how to take the law and really work it to your client's advantage. A lot of people didn't like some of those clients that he represented, but he really embodied the spirit of what it was to represent a client. He also was a great appreciator of the law. And then my other great mentor in broadcast television was the brilliant journalist, is the brilliant journalist, Barbara Walters. Barbara taught me the art of the follow-up question. Anybody can organize a smart first question, but the follow-up question comes from listening and paying attention. Those were my mentors, and I sort of followed their lead in how I mentor other people. Most people really do misunderstand mentoring. I mean, I certainly did until I aligned myself with the right people who truly invested their time into me and pushed me to achieve my very best. A mentor is not just an accountability partner. They're not just a good friend, nor are they just an extra set of eyes, hands, and someone to brainstorm with. A mentor has a proven track record of success and understands the blueprint of success that is required for your field and aspirations. They are confident, knowledgeable, and eager and willing to invest their time in you. So most importantly, they believe in you. I see a lot of professionals approaching mentoring the wrong way. Choosing a mentor is just as important as choosing a business partner, an accountant, or a lawyer. Here are my 5 methods of choosing the best mentor to help you reach your professional goals. Let's start with number 1. Don't act a stranger. A mentoring relationship should be beneficial to both parties. It's a give and take. If the mentor is going to help you, they need to know you and like you. Asking a stranger to mentor you is really inappropriate because a mentoring relationship needs to be based on trust and passion, and that level of enthusiasm does not come from a stranger. Number 2, find someone you want to be like. Again, I told you my 2 mentors, Johnny Cochran and Barbara Walters. Your prospective mentor should be someone you know and admire both professionally and personally. You should admire their success, the way they work, their network, and most importantly, their morals and their ethics. Integrity matters. Remember the power of association. Number 3, evaluate the fruit. I cannot stress enough the importance of their track record of success. You know what? If you want to emulate somebody, you need to have something to emulate. Remember that we've all been taught to sort of fake it until you make it. I know something about that. So make sure your mentor does not just appear successful. They need to walk the walk and talk the talk. The fruit of their labors needs to be apparent. Number 4, let the relationship evolve organically. Like all relationships, a mentor-mentee relationship also needs to be natural. It will change over time and go with the flow. So there's no need to chart and organize how you think this relationship should progress. Don't be polyplanner. If you keep an open mind to learning and growing and maintain your passion, the two of you should feed off each other's energy and evolve through the years. And number 5, initiate. Don't wait for your mentor to call or suggest meeting with you. Once you find someone who is happy to mentor you, you should take the initiative and set up the next step, whether it is brainstorming, contact sharing, or relationship building. You must make it clear what you need to be successful. I can tell you this is what has worked for me. For over 20 years, I have been so fortunate to have professionals I admire pour into me, and I'm a sponge. I've also had women that I'm, at this point, determined to see live their best life, and I mentor them as well. That is what successful people do. We support each other. I want to encourage you to enjoy today's eChapter meeting, and may you be inspired and informed on aligning yourself with the right mentor. Live your best life. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, ladies, and wish me luck with Daytime Divas. Louise, this is on you now.
Thank you, Star, and of course, wish you all the best of luck, really. And welcome, everyone. Our live eChapters are held once a month, and our replays held bi-weekly, either at noon or 4 p.m. Eastern. So you can come back, listen again, and live network with new attendees from around the country. eChapter has taken the stage, not only fostering real-time networking, but has also developed into offline, in-person coffee meetings, not to mention all the business contacts created through the connections made during the events. Also, with our newest online event, eCoaching, we're excited to be offering you even more networking opportunities in 2017. Please look out for the invites and promotions via email, on social media, and on our website, napw.com. We encourage you to carve out the time and keep coming back to our online events because of its ease and ability to network from your office, while on the road, and even from the comfort of your own home. You will see at the bottom left of your screen a box that explains how to create a private chat room with any attendee you wish to speak with off the group chat during the event, as it can be difficult to keep up with one or several people you've connected with, especially when the chat room moves so quickly. We also have in attendance today some additional corporate moderators to assist you or just chat with you along the way. They are Samantha Picorni, Program and Engagement Manager, who will do her best to offer technical support if needed. Katie Maloney, VP of Membership Acquisition, who is available to assist you with any membership questions you have today. And our local chapter representatives are also in the chat room today. Alyssa Ramos, Miami Chapter President and Eastern Regional Manager, Natalie Fikes, Atlanta Chapter President and Central Regional Manager, and Ruth Garcia, Los Angeles Chapter President and Western Regional Manager. You will also see several times during the event a poll pop up on your screen. Please take a minute to answer the questions, as we'll share the results during the panel's discussion. The agenda for our event today is that we'll be showcasing 2 VIP member business spotlights who have 3 minutes each to share their expertise before we invite our panelists on to discuss our topic for today, attracting and creating effective mentoring relationships. Mentoring is a two-way street. So for our first VIP spotlight, I'd like to introduce Priscilla Rose, who for many years worked as a manager in higher education while pursuing her master's degree in business, human and organizational development. Through a consulting partnership to assist a family-owned business, she connected with Genesis founder Ray Rood, who was able to successfully introduce the Genesis transformational change model to support a shift in the organization that produced significant bottom line results. After witnessing the power of this approach in 2009, Priscilla made the daring proclamation to Ray that she envisioned herself running his company in her future. Through a series of circumstances, this vision came to fruition after only 4 years. As CEO, Priscilla focuses her time working to lead Genesis into its own transformation to become a thought leader and change agent for bringing Genesis products and services to many individuals and organizations who need support as they create their best future. In 2016, Priscilla collaborated with her Genesis colleagues to write a book, The Future Belongs to Those Who Dare, about those who have taken the risky leap to lead their lives by going through the Genesis signature process, strategic futuring. Good afternoon, Priscilla, and welcome.
Thank you so much, Louise.
Sorry, it was quite a mouthful. Go right ahead.
For sure. Thank you. I just want to thank you for inviting me to be with all of you powerful female leaders today. Mentoring is a subject that's just near and dear to my heart because, as you can tell, before I started working with my mentor, Ray, I really felt that life was happening to me. I was not leading. I didn't feel powerful. His graduate classes where I met him, I sat at the back of the class and I never said a word. It wasn't safe for me to take initiative, to lead. It was safer to stay hidden and really follow the rules. You know what I'm talking about. It was actually dangerous to step out of line. My growing up, I'd seen my mom step out of line and I'd see her put back in her place. So as I was sharing some of these struggles that I was experiencing in my work with my mentor, he asked me a provocative question. What are you going to do about it? And that question haunted me really on my way back from work and, of course, brushing my teeth at night and all of those things. Could I really do something different? The way of doing work and doing life was actually costing me. And I think really it led me to engage him even further in conversation. I went back to him and said, how do I do something? Say I do want to change. How do I do something different? And he says, change is the common denominator that we all have, and why we really need mentoring too. I found later, no matter what job we're in, our real job is to lead our lives. And to lead our lives is really to be ourselves without apology. So he said, okay, if you want to change, you have to have an avenue, an AVE, an avenue to do something new that starts with awareness. He said, what is at risk if you don't do something new? Our wake-up calls, sometimes we all, we have one. I definitely had one because I was dying a little bit every day in my work. We have to have a vision. V is for vision of what we want to do something different. He has this amazing visioning tool that I've now learned to facilitate. We have to see what we do want because we so clearly see oftentimes what we don't want. And then the third is we have to enroll others. It can't just be us. When I told my mentor that I saw myself running his company in the future, he said, oh, really? And then I couldn't believe that I had said that. He said, you'll have to buy into it first and the most. And he said, and then you'll enroll me in your vision. You'll have to enroll me in what you see. And then you'll have to convince everyone else around you that this is even a good idea. And I took a deep swallow and I said, oh, that's all. No problem. But I figured I had time to do that. And it ended up because I did engage him, and it was started from an inside joke, and then we started making it real. I developed my plan and, this avenue, this roadmap toward what I really saw. It actually happened in 4 years instead of what I thought was going to be a 20-year vision. So I just encourage each of you to, if there's something that you want to do differently, what are you going to do about it? Encourage you to take, we have this great assessment to see your readiness for change. What's at risk if we don't change? I find there's so much, and that's why the area that you might need mentoring in can be found in that assessment. So I just encourage you, you can take that at thegenesisgroup.com/assessment, and I'll send you an invite too. We could talk about it. I love to share my mentoring experience with you. I've realized that all change is really personal. We have to see ourselves as leaders, and leading is really inherently change. So we just be aware of what's at risk, see a different way of doing things, and enroll others in our positive conspiracy to do things differently, if we dare. So thank you, ladies. Thanks again, Louise, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you, Priscilla. I'm going to say that again. Please join the chat room and continue to share and network with the attendees there. Our final spotlight for today is Shelley Sanders, a business intuitive and medium. She is dedicated to helping healers get clients by trusting and following their intuition. Shelley helps clients translate their gifts into a profitable business while setting up a system that honors and nurtures them at the core level. She brings a unique style of being a business intuitive medium to the table. Add over 25 years of experience in the corporate world, Shelley has taken the practical skills learned in business and combines them with the non-physical energies to make your experience complete. Shelley believes in the empowerment of women, which inspired her to become a co-author in the book, Feminine Influences, Leaders, Healers, Givers. She shares her story to make a difference, inspire and empower others to do the same. The book hit #1 Amazon International Bestseller list for women writers. Welcome, Shelley.
Thank you, Louise. Picture this. My grandfather would get upset with me whenever he saw me talking to someone he couldn't see. He went to my parents and said, if she doesn't stop talking to spirits, I won't visit you anymore. My parents sat me down and said, reality is based on what the majority believes. The majority doesn't believe in spirits, therefore they don't exist. Now, you might be wondering, what does this crazy story about spirits have to do with growing my business? Well, I'm going to tell you. It's about being connected to who you truly are. It doesn't matter if no one understands the vision you carry inside. Don't allow it to come out. And most importantly, don't apologize for being different. And because I hold these truths for myself, it landed me on Blog Talk Radio doing intuitive readings for a live audience. The first principle spirits taught me about is trust. And this came up during a client meeting when I said, the best way to grow your business is by speaking on stage. My client, I will get burned. I knew in that moment I had to come up with a system for you to expand your reach, work with more people, and make money on a regular basis while working from the comfort of your home. And I did just that. It's called Money Making Media Kit. It's a 6-week program, and we show you some. We also cover obstacles that will stop you from getting booked, such as past life bleed-throughs. We energetically heal the lifetimes you were persecuted for speaking your truth. Once healed, you step into your empowerment. The regular price is $97. Your special first 20 people to send me an email and put NAPW eChapter 20 in the subject line will receive the discount. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley, and to all of our NEPW professional spotlights for taking the time to be on our e-chapter today. Now it's time to continue our program and introduce the panel that will be discussing our topic, attracting and creating effective mentoring relationships. Mentoring is a two-way street. So for our first panelist, I welcome Dr. Laverne Adams, the CEO of Total Life Consultancy, LLC, that specializes in helping professional women get clarity and direction to find internal satisfaction while maximizing opportunities on the professional landscape. She draws on her 25 years of personal experience working as a leader in the religious, nonprofit, and business world. She has traveled the world inspiring thousands to live the lives of purpose and is the author and contributor of 20 books on personal, social, and global transformation. Dr. Laverne is also a radio and television host presenting material that motivates women to use a holistic approach to live more fuller and meaningful lives. I'm also excited to share that Dr. Laverne is NEPW's recently appointed Philadelphia chapter president. Good afternoon, Dr. Laverne. Wonderful to have you on our panel today.
Hi, Louise. I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. So I'm going to introduce our next panelist, who I'd like to welcome, Paula Anderson, who has been providing behavioral health counseling and consulting services in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area for the last 18 years. She received her master's in counseling from the George Washington University and is licensed in the state of Maryland, approved as a clinical supervisor, and is also a nationally certified counselor. Paula's education, experiences, and certifications have made her distinctively qualified to provide quality behavioral health services to individuals, families, nonprofits, schools, and corporations. She and her company, Pace Consulting, have helped thousands of their clients to become the best version of themselves and have helped organizations take their behavioral health, educational, and human service programs to the next level. Paula is passionate about dismantling the stigma of mental health, and as a result, her and her staff provides workshops, trainings on mental health to employees and managers across a variety of settings. Her team also provides workshops, trainings on topics such as conflict resolution, team building, and managing change. Greetings, Paula. Glad to have you here also on our panel today.
Thank you so much, Louise, for having me. I'm excited to be here as well.
It's a pleasure. And last but not least for our panel, I'd like to welcome Dr. Marilyn Margiati, who is a licensed psychologist in private practice for over 20 years, providing individual psychotherapy and couples counseling. For the past 4 years, Marilyn has also been working as a personal and executive coach, focusing on development of leadership skills and helping to thrive professionally and personally, especially through developing competencies in emotional intelligence. Marilyn was recently featured in an article by the Women of Distinction magazine and formerly worked as an adjunct psychology professor at the University of San Francisco. In the past, she worked as the director of student counseling services at 2 local medical school programs, training doctoral students to provide psychotherapy to medical students. Marilyn was awarded the Patient's Choice winner for 2016 by Open Care, recognizing her as one of the top San Francisco psychology practices based on patient ratings. Good afternoon, Marilyn.
Hello, Louise. Hello, everyone.
It's a pleasure to have you all here on the e-chapter as panelists today, ladies. So let's start off with the fact that many people are looking for mentors, and one that will volunteer their time, be enthusiastic, and committed to working with you. Saying that, the issue is that the best people are always the busiest. So how are you going to attract them? How do you find the right mentor, then have them agree to work with you? We'll start with Laverne.
Well, one of the secrets I'm going to give away today is that I have found in order to engage in a successful coaching, I'm saying coaching, but it's both the same to me because I'm a executive coach, is that I always try to find people that I can serve. So it's, similar to what Star said, you find someone who you like and who you want to be like, and then figure out a way that you can help them. Most busy people are really looking for people that they can depend on and that can help them. And so if you, they're not like a total stranger and they feel like they could trust you, if you make yourself indispensable, they will always seek you out. And that's pretty much been my secret.
Thanks, Laverne. The poll went up and we asked our attendees if they struggle to find mentoring relationships. And 61, nearly 62% of our attendees say they always struggle to find someone to be a mentor to them. Paula, what would you add here as far as your comments?
Yeah, I love what Laverne said about serving. But I think for me what's been helpful is I've been fortunate to be a part of a lot of networking groups and business groups such as NAPW. And I think looking in those circles have been helpful for me because there are people there who have more experience than I have, or people who don't have as much experience, and I tend to look for the people with experience, and they tend to be available. And that's the thing for me that's been helpful. Like I definitely want a mentor that's going to be available to me, not someone that I have to chase after so much. And so I think just looking in circles that you regularly attend. So as if it's an NAPW chapter meeting, if you're in a business group, look there first, and you'll find people who are available and be willing to help you as well. And I love the serving part because I do think that's helpful to become indispensable. So I'll take that, Laverne.
Thanks, Paula. Marilyn, as far as, relationship building around this process, how important is that before somebody would even commit to being a mentor?
Well, I think it is incredibly important because for the mentor-mentee relationship to work best, you want to be with somebody whose values align with your own. So you want to have their values align with yours as well as personality types aligning. So being authentic, being real, being truthful, being honest, all of those things plus others are necessary to build that trusting relationship.
How do you think specifically that you might get them to agree to become a mentor? What kinds of process or thought process around the relationship should someone be presenting to a potential mentor to have them agree to take on this role?
Well, the best mentor-mentee relationship is one where both people are energized by it. And so a lot of times, people that are in the position to be mentors, they have a lot to give, a lot to offer. And they also oftentimes are looking for something. They may need to be re-energized in their own career. They may need to pass along what they know, and that reminds them of why they got into what they got into and helps touch upon their own passion. So you want to remember that right mentoring relationship is energizing to both parties. And trying to find that right person, asking people that you trust, and then offer reasons why you're seeking to find a mentor at this time, and any thoughts that you have about what you can give back, sort of like what Laverne said, is also crucial for bringing that person in.
Well, that's right. You think about the relationship building around this process, and also there has to be a like-mindedness and also a likeness between the two people that are going to work. They need to like each other. That's really important that you like the person you're choosing to be a mentor, and that the mentor likes you as well, so building up that relationship is really important. Paula, how do you see the combined role of a mentee and a mentor?
The combined role of a mentee and mentor?
What is the combined role?
I'm sorry, what is the what?
what is the combined role? How do you see that, those parties working together?
Yes. And I think just similar to Marilyn, like they both need to feel empowered by this relationship. It shouldn't be just this one-way thing where the mentor feels like they're always giving and they're not receiving anything back. I think the mentee needs to play a role as well as they're coming to the table with goals as to what, they would like to achieve. And, in terms of a timeline of those goals, the mentee should come with those timelines, but the mentor can help them facilitate, what that timeline should look like. But I think it really should be a two-way relationship where both are feeling empowered, both are feeling great about the relationship, both are, moving forward in the relationship as well. And then I think for the mentee as well, whenever the mentor is giving instructions or things that they should do, that the mentee is, readily coming back and saying, hey, this is what I did or didn't do, or this worked or this didn't work, so that the mentor knows that, what the advice and the guidance that they're giving is working or is not working, and how they can tweak it a bit. So I think it really should be two ways, and they both have very distinct roles to play to make it successful.
That's right. One of our attendees, I'm just reading here and hopefully it won't jump around, Marissa Wiedner, says, in order to get someone to agree to playing the role of mentor, be clear what your expectations of them are, just to your point. Ask them what they would expect from you in return, and be sure that the relationship will be mutually beneficial and you're able to meet each other's expectations. That's
Absolutely.
Right. Street, as the title goes of this e-chapter. Dr. Laverne, do you have anything to add here?
Absolutely. I want to veggie back on what Paula was saying, and that is, it really, going back to, it has to be a give and a take. You can't just enter into a mentoring relationship expecting to give me, teach me. A real working mentoring relationship is almost quite rare when it actually works the way it's supposed to. And that is both parties, and it is similar to what Marilyn was saying, have to be willing to share and to give. So it's about giving of yourself, coming to the table, first of all, as a mentee, being a person of service, how can I help you? So it's not just, I'm working on you. How about, what can I do to help you? And I think it would really make it a very positive working relationship. So it's very important that it's a give and take.
Absolutely. I think flexibility is key. Got to be able to ebb and flow in this relationship like any relationship. I know that you'll turn a corner and it might not be quite the direction you thought you were going to be heading, and you have to sort of ebb and flow around that. Marilyn, define what steps should be taken to create a successful mentoring program.
Okay, first and foremost, when you find that person that you want to work with and they agree to work with you, you want to structure what this is going to look like. So you want to have it clear what the purpose of the mentoring relationship is going to be, so that you both know why you're there, where you're going. That way you can figure out then together how you're going to get there. If you think about it in two parts, there's the real sharing heart to heart of what you're looking for, what they might be looking for, and then finding those common values, finding if you're comfortable with talking and talking in this open, honest, truthful way. And then secondly, once you've figured that part out, that that's working, you want to set up the form of what the whole relationship is going to look like. And that's the structure. How often you're going to meet. Are you going to email in between times? Of course, being flexible, because people's lives, everyone is very busy, and things will come up. So if you have a meeting set up and it doesn't work out, just make sure you go ahead and set up that next meeting. If there's something really important you wanted to discuss, email and see if there's a little bit of time you can get in that way. But setting up that structure and then having regular times where you're getting feedback on, are you on track to achieve your goals? How are you holding the person accountable, the mentee, what they want in the form of accountability, laying out action steps. So those are some of the things that come to mind in terms of structuring the relationship.
Thank you, Marilyn. We have a poll that came up too, right there, and we asked the attendees, what is most important to you in a mentor relationship? Is it trust, two-way conversation, valuable advice, or all of the above? Well, about 80% of our attendees said all of the above. So the trust, the ability to have a two-way conversation, and the valuable advice. So I think that structuring that and figuring out how to achieve that is part of the success of a mentoring program. So Paula, anything more to add in here as far as creating this successful program?
I think too, to add to what Marilyn said, it should be a time, should be like a reflective practice. So where the mentee and mentor have an opportunity to reflect on where they are in their career or their life, and be able to, give that, share that with each other. It should be a space where they're growing, they're both growing and they're both learning, and I'm going back to the word empowerment. It should feel like it's a relationship that's not draining, but it's empowering both parties. So I feel like giving them a space to be reflective is an important part of a mentoring program.
Right, absolutely. That's a very good point. And Laverne?
Yeah, I want to say that a lot of people approach me to ask me, when I tell them what I do, they always say, everybody says exactly the same thing, I need you in my life. So I can't possibly, mentor all those people. So I have a system. I actually have a system that I use. And I created a system, very methodical, and I could kind of tell by initial conversation if the person can go through the system with me, because you have to be able to match intensity, and that's critical. You can't want something for someone more than they want it for themselves. And you may want an executive coach, but you may not be ready for an executive coach. So those are really important issues. Another thing is, with the system is really, it requires a tremendous level of maturity on the part of the mentor and the mentee. So both people have to understand, I'm going to bring something to the table. The mentee can't be like completely sheepish and I don't know anything. One of the most valuable experiences I have with my mentees is when they bring something to the table. And listen, I love millennials. Come on, bring it on. Let's do it. I want to know what you know, and I want to share with you what I know. So it's just a powerful relationship when you appreciate and respect your mentee and what they bring to the table, and then also know that you have something to offer, but you definitely don't know it all.
Yes, exactly right. So the relationship, sometimes I think maybe why people don't take on the role of being a mentor is the enormous pressure, the feeling of pressure to deliver something or what it is that person's looking for. And I think defining that early on and agreeing that if you can do that, and then also understanding that in this relationship as a mentor that you're going to be actually the mentee sometimes as well. It'll flip because you're going to be learning your point about having millennials around you, getting inspired by what they have to offer and share. Marilyn, I'm seeing a lot in the chat room here about the difference between coaches and mentors. A lot of the ladies are talking about this. I can see it coming up. Can you describe and help out our attendees today understanding the difference between those two spots?
Absolutely. And that's a very good question. A mentor is, I think of it as
an umbrella under which coaching is a part of the relationship. So a coach, they tend to work very specifically on helping a person develop their potential, improve their relationships, and enhance performance. Whereas mentors, now they use coaching skills to serve the mentee, and they focus on very specific tasks like coaches do, but they have an overarching purpose, and it's tends to be a longer process that's involved. They serve as a role model. They will also share information about their field very specifically if the mentee is, of course, looking for that in that relationship. They will also oftentimes make introductions, help people to connect, help the mentee to connect with other people in their network. So it's just a broader purpose.
I hope that's helped everyone. Thanks, Marilyn. I mean, Laverne, do you have anything to add in here as well?
Oh, definitely. I think when we talk about mentoring, the ability to impart to someone is critical, but it's even more critical that you are honest, that you are. One of the things that I think is a strength for me is that in my coaching and mentoring relationships is that I'm transparent. I share my story. I tell the truth. I don't act like I've never made a mistake or that, I don't have any problems. I'm very transparent, and I try to be as real as possible. So it requires a deep sense of honesty. Mentoring also requires a tremendous sacrifice of self. We talked about time, but this is that part of I'm giving you a part of myself. I'm showing you who I am, and everybody can't handle that. That's one thing that we got to be real clear about. Sometimes people, when they see you, they're starstruck. They think that you've made it, you have it all, and then when they find out that you had a bad divorce or something like what do you mean? Like you burst my bubble. But I think it's important to be honest, and that also requires a tremendous amount of vulnerability. So it's quite an undertaking to be a mentor to somebody, and you just have to be willing to give of yourself. That's really the bottom line.
Yes, absolutely. There's definitely some clear differences between coaches and mentors, and there is a lot of confusion about that. So I appreciate both of you stepping in to assist with understanding those two areas. We did put up another poll, and we asked, what do you feel is the mentee's obligation within the relationship? A, to be reliable, B, to have clear goals, C, to be willing to be flexible and adjust accordingly, and D, all of above. So 87% of our, or actually nearly 90% I'm seeing here, of our attendees said all of above. So they understand that what their obligations are. Paula, though, when we talk about whose responsibility is to define the goals and the timeline, what opinion do you have around that? Do you see it sitting on the mentee side solely, or do you see it on both ends of the mentor and the mentee to define that?
I would say with setting the goals, the mentee should be the one initiating that, because they are coming to the mentor with something that they want or need or want to develop, and they should already have that set. I think in terms of like a timeline of when those goals should be accomplished, I think the both of them should discuss that, because the mentee may think, hey, this is going to take me 3 months, and the mentor may say, well, in reality, this may take, 5 months or 6 months. So I think they both need to kind of work on the timeline, but I do think the mentee needs to be the one initiating it. Again, serving the mentor and not letting them do all the work, especially if they're coming to them, initiating that relationship. So
right, and also knowing that through that process, the mentor knowing if she can meet the goals of the mentee.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Marilyn, do you have anything to add here?
In terms of the responsibilities of the mentee?
Yes, and the mentor. So, who's responsible? The question was defining the goals and the timeline. So, I mean, we heard about the mentee's role. I mean, anything else to add around that?
Just in terms, it's, I think, incumbent upon those people to be accountable and stay on track. Having regular reviews is a great way to see how far you've come and are you on track to meet the goal. So having those reflective times is very important. And if you're not on track to meet your goals, then you want to be working on creating new ways of getting there. So that reflection time is very important.
Right. Now, do you see that as the mentor's responsibility to create the timeline? You have the mentee come with what they're looking to gain through this experience and the guidelines around that.
Well, I think it's a process that both need to be involved in to make it successful. So you want to be clear about the general framework of a timeline. Of course, you need to be flexible. But then what are the action steps along the way? And both people need to participate in that in order for it to be successful. And if the mentee is off, they've got these grandiose goals, and which is fine, but they hope to do them in 3 months, the mentor needs to step in and say, oh, okay, now wait a minute here. That's great, but let's break this down into what is reasonable and not overwhelming, because that can set the mentee back in their progress. When they think they ought to be, so far ahead, and they set up too unrealistic a timeline.
Right, absolutely. Laverne, I mean, in this process, of defining goals and timelines, I mean, let's say there's a breakdown, and it can be on either end of the relationship, if it's with the mentor, if it's the mentee, in the sense that, somebody's not stepping up or showing up or not delivering what they were expected to. How does one handle a breakdown in a mentor-mentee relationship?
Delicately. Well, I think when you set clear expectations in the beginning, I pretty much make sure that people understand both of our times are valuable. And going back to what Marilyn said, people, especially coaches, have a tendency to set goals that are kind of really very high or, sometimes unrealistic. It's up to the mentor to help guide and shape that goal, to, let them know this may be some of the things, this may happen, but that may not happen, and takes time to go through that process. But once you explain that, and then they can't seem to get in the groove of it, you have to manage it very, very swiftly. So we're not going on 3 sessions where we were supposed to meet and you don't show up. That's never going to happen. The first time you got your chance. Because if it's not important to you, then why would I invest my time into it? So you have to make this a priority. And so again, the parameters are set very early in the game. This is coming. We're both busy people. I try to respect your time, and I know I want you to respect mine. And so once we have that established, if that breaks down very quickly, you need to dissolve that. And that's beyond flexibility. It's because what I find after 20 years of helping people do exactly what they want to do. So they have to
and I think to your point, Laverne, I mean, the whole, go back to the structure of creating the mentoring program and relationship. I mean, it's almost like a business plan within itself. It's a plan of action and an agreement, maybe is a better term, that you define what the goals are, you define the amount of time you're spending together to achieve those goals, you have your checkpoints along the way, and you agree upon it before you get going, so that if something is to go awry, you have this agreement to go back to and say, well, we agreed on this, so did something change? And so be able to have that exit.
Absolutely. I have all kind of contracts, and I have a whole system that I walk people through. It's the structure is what's going to really make it happen.
Right. That's right. Paula, anything to add there?
Nope. I think Laverne
Well, you know what? We're going to talk. Let's stay with me, Paula, because we've talked about flexibility a lot. We've come up with the word. Let's talk about what that really means. I mean, let's talk about, share some examples around being able to be flexible in a successful mentoring-mentee relationship. Something that's going well, you're really enjoying each other, there's a lot happening, but there's something happening where a shift needs to occur. Mm-hmm. So if you can share just some ideas around this concept of flexibility and what that really means.
Yeah, and as I think about what you just said, I think life happens, right? Yeah. And so, we can't stop life from happening, and sometimes you may have the structure, and you may have your time set and the goals set and everything, and like you said, something may happen. The mentor, we talk about the busyness of the mentor. They may have to, may have a new contract where they have to travel a lot. Okay, so then what happens in that instance? The mentee, I would think in that instance, would have to make a decision, like, do I want to continue being with my mentor, knowing that they have this busy travel schedule, or do I want to adjust and be flexible according to their needs so I can still get my needs met in this relationship? The same thing reverse with the mentee. The mentor may be showing them something or teaching them something, and they may not get it as quickly. And the mentor may not have time for that. So they have to kind of think about, okay, do I keep showing this person the same thing? Do I have the patience? Do I have the time? And be able to, according to whatever goals were set, continue being flexible in that relationship. So it's, like I said, life happens, things happen, and, depends on how much you really like your mentee or mentor and how much you're willing to fight for that relationship and go through things that may happen and that may occur in that relationship to cause it to change.
Absolutely. I think patience is another word that should be. There's lots of patience needed in this process on many levels. So for the final question for today, Marilyn, I'm going to ask you, share with us the value of having multiple mentors and where you'll find those in your life, existing, you might not even realize it, and elsewhere.
Well, I've been very fortunate to have 4 major mentors throughout my career and my terms in graduate school, and men and women. And I find that the differing perspectives that they bring and from their vantage point helped me tremendously and helped me to improve and to develop the constructive feedback that I always welcomed, although sometimes it can be hard to hear, but it's so necessary. And as long as it's constructive, then you can take it in, you can think about it, reflect on, and then decide whether to incorporate it or not. But that's necessary for development. So these mentors, they really helped me hone and develop my skills. I recall in graduate school one individual shared with me a quote. I haven't been able to track down the author of it, but the quote was, "You cannot sharpen your sword on a velvet stone." And I love that because sometimes it was so arduous to get through different parts of school and a dissertation and all the rest. And I kept coming back to that. Okay, that's how I grow, that's how I develop, that's how I'm challenged, and then that's what's going to bring me to my potential. So in terms of where to find them, professional meetings, many of which, the things that Laverne and Paula have already mentioned, professional meetings, networking events, NAPW events, in your profession as well as outside of your profession, because sometimes people can bring things outside of your profession that can be very valuable that you hadn't been perhaps exposed to or gotten enough of through those that are in your professional development. So that's what I would in general say about that.
Thanks, Marilyn. Yeah, so that's why NAPW is so valuable, because of exactly that you can go outside of your profession to find that person that can become your mentor. Well, ladies, thank you. Great advice. We've learned that putting the time into developing relationships and networking will build trust and rapport with a wide circle of people and open up mentoring opportunities. Mentorships are about listening and learning. Mentees should be able to find their own voice and outlet, while mentors glean fresh perspective for their own endeavors. It's important that an environment is fostered where mentees can speak freely while addressing any of their concerns or questions. Mentors that simply talk at individuals will offer little value. As a mentee, your obligation is to ask questions and learn from others' experiences. Mentoring is sharing, and it's vital that mentors feel comfortable sharing their career experiences and mentees feel that the advice is valuable. Well, eChapter attendees, and unfortunately that's all we have time for today. It always goes by way too fast. But before we wrap up, I do want to share with you the recommended reads from our panelists today. Dr. Laverne Adams recommends The Millionaire Messenger by Brendon Burchard. This book is relatable as it can be seen as a valuable messenger with a story to tell the world. This book spells out a pathway to effectively sharing your story in a way that produces prosperous returns. Paula Anderson recommends The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John C. Maxwell. This book truly captures the essence of mentoring because he talks about the various factors of personal growth, and mentoring is definitely a contributing factor. He talks specifically about mentoring in the chapter titled The Law of Modeling, where he goes through and breaks down the qualities of a good mentor. It's one of Paula's favorite reads. Marilyn Margiati recommends 1 Minute Mentoring, How to Find and Work with a Mentor, and Why You'll Benefit from Being One, by Ken Bouchard, co-author of the best-selling book, The New 1 Minute Manager, and by Claire Diaz-Ortiz, a former Twitter executive and author of Twitter for Good. This book addresses the practical aspects of finding and developing powerful mentoring relationships. It clarifies why mentoring is vital to professional and personal success and contains many useful examples of how the whole process works. Thank you, ladies. Great choices. And thank you, the Star and the Spotlight, for sharing such great advice today. Also, I'd like to thank the 150 members who attended today. You'll be receiving a follow-up list of all today's attendees so you can connect again on napw.com and continue to network. If any of our attendees have further questions for our speakers, please feel free to reach out to them. Their information is on today's PowerPoint, which we send out in the post eChapter email. Also, all NAPW eChapters are recorded and saved on the YouTube NAPW eChapter channel for you to watch and share with your colleagues, friends, and family. You'll see on your screen now that you can sign up for the upcoming NAPW eChapter replay of today's event, June 14th at 12 noon Eastern. Remember, all sessions, even when a replay, host live attendee networking. Also, ladies, if you have any questions regarding your membership, including your benefits, how to navigate the website, upgrades and renewals, or any upcoming events in person or online, please see the email listed now on the PowerPoint deck for you to reach out and have your questions answered. And finally, post eChapter, here are 3 things you should do to continue putting your NAPW membership to work. 1, connect with at least 3 members post eChapter. As I said, the attendee list is coming your way post-event. 2, make sure you signed up for the next eChapter. And 3, don't forget to take the post eChapter survey. Your feedback is very important to us and assists us in enhancing your member experience. Thank you, everyone, for another great eChapter event, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Enjoy.